Hey everyone, this is Jason and welcome back to the basement. Today, I want to kind of do a retrospect on one of the last videos I did because I left out something. I mentioned that I had used APS-C and Micro Four Thirds as a pair on a vacation, and it was wonderful. It was great. Hold on, let me hold that thought. Right now, I always like to tell people this. Vlogging with the Fuji XS10 with the 10 to 24 millimeter lens Mark 1 at 10 millimeters right now. So normally I would be shooting with the 16-2.8, but that is the subject of the video. Spoiler alert. So let's go back to it. So yeah, APS-C and Micro Four Thirds on a vacation, and it was a great pairing because in a prior vacation, I felt like I was missing telephoto shots. And, you know, with Fuji being APS-C, all their telephoto lenses are massive. So I didn't want to invest in a 55 to 200 or a 50 to 230 or a 50 to 140. They're really big, and I was trying to keep my bag compact. So that's where Micro Four Thirds came in. Just to recap that, I had the XE3 with the 16 millimeter 2.8 and the 27 millimeter 2.8, both weather seal lenses, with the Panasonic GX1 and the 35 to 100 f4 to 5.6. That was my telephoto. So that's all I brought: 2 cameras, 3 lenses, and that's what I shot with. Great combination because I was covered for literally everything, and I got some great shots on my vacation. And I was really only thinking about the Micro Four Thirds part. That's probably what I highlighted the most because that lens, hold that thought, that lens is such a compact lens. I literally got into Micro Four Thirds for this very lens. That's the reason why I got into it. For this 35 to 100, the telephoto, you know, for bright daylight situations. Obviously, this is not a professional indoor event lens, but for outdoor travel situations, this was the lens that really got me into Micro Four Thirds. And then I went down the rabbit hole and got all these other lenses because, hey, you never know. You might want to stay with Micro Four Thirds for other reasons too, which I can be compelled to do. So besides that, what really kind of I had to reach cap on was the APS-C part. The XE3, using those 2 lenses, the 16-2.8, which I normally vlog with, by the way, not doing it today, and the 27 millimeter 2.8, which is affixed now to my X Pro 2. Now, here's a body update. I don't have the XE3 or the Panasonic GX1. I've already had the X Pro 2, which I've discussed. So I think what I did, I decided to move the X Pro 2 up to more than just my professional documentary lens, camera, to also do some travel with me. So this will take the place of the XE3 in the lineup and share duties with the XS10. So the XS10 will be my hybrid photo, video, travel, you know, camera, and this will do the photography centric stuff. And so yeah, the XE3 is gone. The GX1 is gone. That was replaced by, ta-da, the GX85. Now you're probably asking, why did you do such a thing? Well, here's the thing. The GX1 is cool as it was a great introduction into the Micro Four Thirds system. I got it for super cheap. It was just ridiculous cheap. I had to get it just to see, especially knowing that I wanted to get the 35 to 100. So the viewfinder, it bothered me that it didn't have a viewfinder. So I eventually did get the viewfinder, the optional viewfinder option. But it made the camera DSLR-like and even bigger than a DSLR. That massive EVF on top was just a big old hump, and it was bigger than the XT2 and the XS10 in terms of looking like a DSLR. So when it was in and out the bag on vacation, the viewfinder kept on popping up and open because it's a tilty viewfinder thing. It annoyed me, and I think one thing I know about myself is that I have to work around my annoyances. I have to be very comfortable with what I'm using, and the little details like that matters. The stealthiness of shooting when you're a dad, a husband, and you got your whole family around. You can't have annoyances. You know, you're gonna miss shots. You're not gonna get, you know, the grandness of the vacation, the family moments, and you're just gonna find a way out of it. And I found my way out of it. So I sold it all. I sold the XE3 and the GX1, and then got the GX85 built-in viewfinder, so the hump stays, you know, it stays flat, none of that craziness. And I invested in another lens, the 45mm 1.8 by Olympus. So now I have a full Micro Four Thirds setup. But that is not the point of this video. Let's get back to it. So APS-C. So the two lenses, I've owned the 27mm Mark I before, and I like the 35mm focal length. That's my favorite. My 23 f2 is my favorite lens overall, especially when I'm doing pro work, you know, at an event, stuff like that. But I do like pancake lenses, and I wish Fuji would make a 35 equivalent pancake lens, but they don't. They have the 27, and it is a new version, which I also have. I have the new version with the aperture ring, which I love. I love this. 40mm is not a bad focal length, and I do enjoy shooting at 40mm. The problem with 40mm, especially for a dadtographer, I'm coining that, dadtographer, is that when you're in tight at a table like this, I'm at a table, wide angles are crucial to get a toddler's photo, to get a toddler with her grandmother, to get a toddler with her mom and her grandpa and her uncle, all at a table. I'm often shooting, I find, at a table, like, or somewhere really tight. We're on a bus on a trip, we're at dinner, and 40mm doesn't allow me to get everybody. 40mm allows me to get a section of the table. Like, if I'm sitting down at the table, I can get just a section because I might be literally right next to them. But it doesn't allow me to get the whole picture. So I thought about that prior because I knew how the field of view of 40 worked when I used it with an XT1, you know, for a long time ago. So knowing that I had the 16mm 2.8 in my arsenal, I said this could be the perfect pair to have them together, to bring them together on the trip and alternate between these two fields of view, 24mm field of view, 40mm field of view, and it would give me the good, you know, wide to medium wide that I really like. Now, some could argue, why not just bring the 23 f2 and sit right in between them? But even at 35, you're not getting the whole table. And I wanted to get an extreme. I always like to be extreme. If I got 40 or, you know, 40mm or 50mm field of view, I'm going to go a little more extreme because I can, in certain situations, I can make the 40 work. That's a fact. I can make it work. I can make it feel like 24mm or 35mm with the right distance. It's just in those extreme situations, or when I want to be extreme, that this lens will come in handy. And I think that's what I found, is that it became the great lens to use, you know, in those situations where I wanted to just pull everything in. Also, I'm shooting with a Fuji 10 to 24mm lens right now, and this field of view, if you've ever watched my prior videos, is wider because I'm shooting at 10mm. I think I'm shooting at 10. Hold on. Yep, I'm shooting at 10mm, and I'm only about probably a forearm away from the camera. I'm touching the lens hood right now, so that's how close it is. And I think, you know, working in extremes can work for you given the right situation. So I'm happy with this combination, and I think for travel, this would probably be my chosen combination when I'm using it with Micro Four Thirds. So Micro Four Thirds 35-100 gives me my 70-200 telephoto work, and then everything else normal, wide, APS-C with the 2 lenses that we just discussed. So that's all I had to say. I really like this combination. Everything I'm doing on this channel is about experimentation and talking about my experiences and seeing what other people think, and if you have similar experiences. So let me know what you guys think. Leave your comments below. If you're not subscribed, please consider it. It's really about building a community about photography, the art that we love. All right, I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace.